Hey guys, I hope you guys are all doing well. So we are here at our final lesson on the fruit of the Spirit. And just to recap, the fruit of the Spirit are those gifts that God gives us that helps us to live lives that are pleasing to Him and live lives in the way that show God's love to other people. And there are 9 different fruit of the Spirit. They are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and today the last one is self-control. Well, this weekend, it made me, I was doing something that actually made me think a lot about self-control. And that was something probably a lot of you guys do this time of the year. I was toasting marshmallows in front of the fire and getting ready for one of my favorite treats, s'mores. But as I was toasting my marshmallows, I had it on the stick and I had to be very careful and very intentional. I didn't want to get the marshmallow too close to the fire where it would just turn into a charred mess. I didn't want to have it too far from the fire where it really wasn't going to get toasted and warm and gooey and all those things that made it great. I had to put it in just the right spot. And then I had to turn it just the right speed so that it was getting nice and toasted all around, because I like symmetry and I like it to be toasted all the way around too. So I had to have a lot of self-control because I really like marshmallows and I really like warm, gooey marshmallows. And I wanted to enjoy it when it was just right. So I had to use self-control and not take it out of the fire too fast and not put it in the fire and try to rush the process. Toasting a good marshmallow, never thought about it, but it really does take a lot of self-control. So what is self-control anyway? Well, it's kind of simple. Self-control is saying no to the things that aren't good for us and saying yes to the things that are good for us. It means listening and acting how God wants us to, rather than just reacting without thinking or simply doing whatever it is we want to do. You know, using self-control can look like only eating one cookie when you really want to eat that whole plate of cookies. Self-control can look like going to bed on time instead of staying up too late to finish that game or the book or the movie that you just really don't want to stop enjoying. Self-control can look like taking the time to do a really good job with your homework instead of rushing through it to get to whatever is next on your to-do list. Self-control can look like choosing to say kind words, or sometimes choosing not to say any words at all when you're frustrated or if somebody is making you mad. You know, self-control in a lot of ways makes me think of the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears. You don't want things to be too much. You don't want things to be too little. You really just kind of want to settle into just right with your words, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It's also kind of like toasting marshmallows, like I said earlier. Well, self-control is something that God wants us, He wants to help us put that into action. You know, God created us to have self-control and to use it as we live out our lives. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says that and proves that to us. And it's found in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 7. And it says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power, of love, and of self-control." There it is. God gave us self-control. Now, self-control isn't always easy. It means making good choices and keeping our thoughts and our feelings and our actions in control. You know, our words, thoughts, and actions they're powerful and they can really be used for so much good, but they can also hurt others if we're not careful. And sometimes when we don't use self-control, our words, thoughts, and actions can lead to us being hurt too. But you know, when we live our lives with the fruit of the Spirit that is self-control, God works through our hearts to help us, just like He does with all those other 8 fruit of the Spirit. He helps us live lives that are pleasing to Him and that show His love in big and wonderful ways to other people. So what can we do? How can we approach our lives and situations that we meet each day and use that gift of self-control? Well, there are 3 things you can do. Anytime you face a choice and you know you need to have self-control, there are 3 things you can do. First thing to do is just stop what you're doing for a minute. Don't react. Don't react without thinking. Stop for a minute. That's number 1. Second thing is to think about how your actions, your thoughts, and your words will affect other people. Sometimes just taking a minute to think about something bigger or somebody other than yourself helps you make that decision and use that self-control. And the third thing, and probably the most important thing, is to pray for help. You know, God is always there to listen to us, to help us when we come to Him, when we're having a hard time. We can always pray and ask God to help us do whatever it is He would have us to do. So those are some very simple ways that we can work to use that fruit of the Spirit, which is self-control in our lives each day. So this week, as you go through this week, and whether you're coming back to school after fall break, just look for those opportunities to use self-control. Remember, don't react without thinking. Don't speak without thinking things through. Use self-control and try to figure out what it is that's going to show God's right choices and God's love in your life to other people. I love you guys. I miss seeing you, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.